Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. Listen, this is Pam Entertainment TV. And if you want to support Pam Entertainment TV, y'all hit that thumbs up, that like button, that heart, or send me a bit because I think that's what y'all do on Twitch. All right, people, let's get into this because there has been a lot of ancillary information that has been coming out of the Diddy trial today. They are really going into this weekend with a bang. Now, today there were a few of assistants and law enforcement that have testified today, and then the court ended. However, they sealed the courtroom. And now, y'all follow my video about juror number 6, and I'll give you all the information in regards to what happened to juror number 6. Also, they came back on the record because they were going over things that they were going to be cleaning up for next week. Now, the prosecution continues to contend that they should be wrapping up their case by Wednesday. All right. And so they've been going back and forth about what exhibits are going to be shown, what exhibits are not going to be shown. But there are some couple of things that are interesting right now. First thing that's interesting is that Brendan Paul will be called as a witness. Now, who is Brendan Paul? Now, you remember when Diddy homes were raided last March? There was a young man who was arrested right when he was arrested. What? He was arrested right when uh Diddy, excuse me. Yeah. He was arrested at the airport with Diddy because that was supposed to have been the twin spring break. You remember that? So he is going to be, you remember that young man? He was arrested. He was charged in state court, and then his charges were dropped because he finished a diversion program. I'm gonna get you that picture up in just a moment. I got a lot of stuff going on. I apologize. Here we go. This young man right here, Brendan Paul is going to testify for the prosecution, and I believe his testimony will start on Monday. Now, there are a couple of other witnesses that are going to testify as well. Now, according to Inner City Press, as we can see down here, the judge asks, so finally, who are the government's last witnesses? Prosecution Comey says summary witnesses Sankar and 2 others, personal assistant Brendan Paul, and a law enforcement officer. We believe we will close next week. So that means there is someone whose name is Sankar. We've got 2 other people, the personal assistant Brendan Paul, and and an officer. So that means that there's going to be about 5 people that they're going to call. Now, what's interesting to me is Brendan Paul, from what I understand, was an assistant, a personal assistant, but he was also the person caught with the goods. So we're going to see what he has to say. Also, the prosecution, like I've said this before, and I'll continue to say it again. The prosecution has a lot of information that they have gathered and that they have brought to us. However, they still have to bring it all together. The one thing that I know that they have together is the transportation charge. They've got that charge, child. That charge you can you could take that charge to the bank. You hear me? You could take those charges to the bank because I think that they were able to show those charges. Now, the other ones, it's going to be interesting. Again, I have said this before. I do not think that Jane Doe did what she was supposed. She didn't give what she was supposed to have gave to the prosecution. I don't think that she had given what they wanted her to give. And so we are now seeing the results of that. And it's my understanding that I don't know if they're trying to find Gina or whatever, or find witnesses that were around Gina. I'm not sure, but it looks like that Gina probably was more important than what they actually realized. Because like I said, I don't know if Jane Doe really gave them what they wanted to give, because again, they were proving they were they are to be proving coercion by fraud. And so I don't know if that kind of came across with this particular jury. We're going to see. But I do believe the transportation charges, they've got dead to rights. The trafficking and the trafficking charge really centers on Jane. If they don't believe that Jane was trafficked, then they cannot go back and believe that they can believe it. But I don't think that they'll be able to go back and use Cassie's case. Cassie's case was just a history. It just shows a pattern of behaviors, because her case is actually uh, far beyond the statutes of limitations. So they were banking that Jane was going to be the people, and they were banking that people were going to believe Jane. But she's got a lot of different things. And for me, I think that her doing the FO with another couple, I just can't. I know the behaviors are bad, and I know that he promised her a lot of different things, but she cannot make me now understand of coercion, particularly when you were willing and able to do the same thing with a whole nother couple. Because you got on the stand talking about things are sore and infections and all this other stuff. You had all of that going on, but then you go to a whole nother hotel night, debauchery night with a whole nother couple. Yeah, I'm gonna need. I'm sorry, that for me killed it for you. So we will see what the jury has to say about that. Definitely, we will see what the jury says about that. Cassie and Capricorn were the more believable stories to me. But again, there is no such thing as a perfect witness, and so they're going to have to take what Jane Doe says in her totality and figure out if what the charges are going to be laid out as far as when they do the jury instructions, how that lays out. But if we're just listening to what's going on, like I said, I believe what she said. And because I believed what she said, particularly at the end, because there was a time when you just need to stop all that talking, but I can believe particularly at the end, um, that her participating uh freely in the FO for another couple, I don't know if they got that in regards to the trafficking. Me being the extra juror, the alternate juror, I don't know if they got all of that. But like I said, I do believe the transportation. Now, as it comes in for the racketeering charge, they have brought in several elements. They have brought in a lot of elements, but now it seems that the financial portion of these elements need to come into play before they can kind of be solidified. And so we're just and I'm curious if they don't get the let's pull these charges up. Hold on, y'all. I want to pull this up really quickly. Again, shout out to Nate the lawyer, because he's the one that did this graphic. So if we're looking at this, if we're looking at this particular graphic, This charge, the kidnapping, the arson, those are tied to Capricorn Clark and Cassie, right? The bribery is charged to Cassie. Now, the obstruction of justice, I think that they were tying that with Mia and the witness tampering. They were tying the forced labor in regards to Capricorn Clark, I believe, and also to Mia. The trafficking here, they were tying it to Jane Doe. They were tying it to Cassie, and Cassie was going to come in if they can tie this particular charge, if they can tie this particular charge to Jane Doe. But if they can't charge this particular charge to Jane Doe, I'm wondering, will these charges be able to come in? Now, this right here, this the the mood enhancing trafficking and distribution, there was a lot of mood enhancers present. I will say that there's a lot of mood enhancers present, but and they were being distributed to the people that joined in on the hotel nights. So having those illegal substances and then providing those illegal substances to others, that may be an issue or a problem. Don't know. Don't know. I don't know how the instructions are going to be, but that's it. Now I'm just going over it for myself and then putting this information, and I'm confused. And I know a lot of people are like, well, they talked about this and they talked about that. But again, I'm needing to know money, 13H, tie the money back, because I know that they paid cash, but and he carried a large sums of cash, but those large sums of cash had to be withdrawn from somewhere. And I need to know where those large sums of cash have been withdrawn from, because it's not illegal to have a whole lot of money. It's not illegal, but to know if he used his personal account or did he use Comb Enterprises or any subsidiary of Comb Enterprises money, that's a problem. Even if you paid them back, I believe that may be a problem, because there's records to show that you put that money in, you took that money out. The same here for the transportation and the paying. There needs to be an account or somewhere to show where that money come from, and we need to talk to a person that handles the money. We did talk to the chief finance officer, but he got on there and he didn't really know too much about where he got the money, and he didn't even know that he had large sums of money on him. So he wasn't any good about talking about the books. You need the person who's good about talking about the good books and the money, and that is the accountant. You need one of those accountants to come in. Also, that's also going to be for 13C. You're going to need an accountant to come in, because that large amount of money, it could have come from his private account. It had to come from somewhere. Where did this money come from? I think that the prosecution, in my opinion, has to talk about that. But again, y'all, I just wanted to be able to let y'all know that this young man right here is going to be testifying. I, like I said, I don't think it's going to be bells and whistles. I don't think it's going to be a big gotcha moment. He probably is not going to say anything more than what any other assistant said in the past, how they operated, how the how they participated, and he probably participated in making sure that the room is ready for the hotel nights and all this other stuff. I don't expect any bombshell notice. I'm just curious. He just happened to get caught, because again, he was the personal assistant. He just happened to get caught with the mood enhancers. All right, people, we do this every week. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Please share this video if you care. Y'all The prosecution is rearing down, and we're getting ready to hear what the defense has to say. And honey, I think if they let Westmoreland loose and Brian Steele loose, and if they let them handle the defense, I think that Diddy may have a chance. Diddy may have a chance. So we'll see. All right, people. We do this every week. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Please share this video if you care. Y'all, please tell a friend, tell a kin, tell a coworker, tell that heifer that you can't stand that I'm over here making these videos. And as always, people, bye-bye.